Hello and welcome to another episode of Nothing Definitive. My name is Sam Carlson of NotDef.com, and today's episode is entitled More Nonsense About Belief, and it's part 3 in a series on belief that I've slowly been writing. And it's from an article I wrote on December 11th, 2013. Belief is persistent. Over the past few years, I've worked to consciously recognize and challenge my beliefs about the world. As a result, I've experienced what I assume to be almost constant cognitive dissonance that pushed me down a path of depression. I had to let go of everything foundational to me, not necessarily reality fact, and live in a world I scarcely recognized. Even with the successes I've faced in redesigning my mind, I still find myself wanting to believe. For instance, I found myself watching a lecture by Richard Dawkins about some theory I cannot remember. I think it had to do with, probably evolution, but some sort of molecules or something like that. And I noticed that my mind wanted to accept his theory as fact, even though I knew it was nothing more than conjecture. And Dawkins himself said it was conjecture. It was just a theory he had. But I felt compelled to believe in it, as if the world definitively ran that way. This is a dangerous game and a red flag worth recognizing because building your world off uncertain information does little to help you in the end. However, it brought up a few questions I've been pondering. Is it natural for the human mind to believe in everything it absorbs as fact? And if so, then why do we have cognitive dissonance in the first place? Or is this desire to believe nothing more than indoctrination of bad rationality early on in our childhoods? In future series, I'll probably look into those questions and hopefully I can provide at least some semblance of answer. In regards to the abandonment of beliefs, you need to approach life like no one has ever taught you anything. You could illustrate it as an alien visiting Earth to document and observe our species. I often feel this way, as if I'm here more to learn than participate, asking sometimes basic questions and different ways to try and reveal insight I had never considered before. But this is a difficult path because there are no guides or teachers you can turn to. I had this realization early on when I grew frustrated and confused at why I felt so lost in everything. I was doing something rare and undocumented, something most people cannot fathom or even recognize. I should also clarify that the abandonment of beliefs does not need to happen all at once. I approached it systematically, attacking one belief after the other as I encountered them. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just start with what you are already questioning and then branch out. Also be aware of the complexity of your mind. Competing or connected beliefs you haven't targeted yet may interfere with how you interpret other things. It's not a clean process where each belief is isolated and easy to root out. You will destroy a belief and yet find it rooted partially in another aspect of your mind. You will find fundamentally incorrect rationality embedded in many places even though you've eliminated them in others. Imagine the process of destroying beliefs like untangling a rubber band ball. Sometimes the bands come off easily, but often they are buried under others that require you to remove them first to completely get at it. The life you are leading and the person you define yourself as is both relevant and irrelevant when considering belief. Irrelevant in the sense that you cannot change past events, so you are forced to accept the current variables of the system and deal with it. There is no alternative here. But relevant in that any minor change along the way could have drastically altered your perception of reality. It is this recognition that should both humble and scare you. By altering a single variable, regardless of size, you could become an entirely different person with different thoughts and beliefs. The point being that your choice to believe in something hinges on, 1, something that you may have no control over, look up modern developments on free will, and 2, something that is fragile and impermanent. Your beliefs don't define you, they define one potential you. Realizing that weakness allows you to let go and rediscover the world. Related to the last point, actively challenging your emotions is helpful in rooting out subconscious beliefs. For instance, you may not consider yourself fearful of the world, yet you are constantly engaging your mind. Distractions like work, exercise, eating, and socializing all pull your attention away from the present moment. It is when we stop these stimuli that we begin to sense subtle cracks in our foundation. I personally felt more confident and in control than ever before a few months ago, only to realize more recently that underneath it all is this lingering and deep-seated fear. I would not be able to detect or challenge this by believing rigidly that I had made progress and conquered myself and gained confidence. Belief almost always stands in your way. Another important recognition to make is that everything you process is programming your mind in some way. Whether that be sitting on the couch and watching TV or stressing out over new projects at work, you are restructuring your mind to think that's how the world operates. You are actually gaining skill and building neurons for those activities. That's why it's so important to target bad behavior quickly and eliminate it before it becomes too ingrained. Once those neurons are weakened, if you attack it, you can more easily override them with productive behavior. Belief is, in essence, prolonged exposure to a stimuli and does not necessarily have anything to do with truth. Additionally, this means we can justify any behavior simply by programming our minds to think a certain way. Sit on the couch long enough and that will begin to alter how you view the world. You'll set upper and lower bounds on how much TV watching is appropriate, where half a week is fine for you, while another person thinks no TV is the only appropriate level. You'll begin to believe the messages on TV and think that cable news is accurate. Your reality will change to fit your environment. This also means that justification is useless in determining right and wrong or good and bad. All right, so that's the article I wanted to share today. Thank you very much for listening. As always, please consider subscribing as usual. Every sub helps a lot. You can also like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. If you do dislike it, leave a comment, preferably constructive, so I can make changes to future videos and release better content. Otherwise you can also, in the video description below, there's links to the part 1 and part 2 of this series, both the videos, and then within the videos there's also the articles. You can go to notdeaf.com to read more articles like this. My Twitter should be linked in the video description too. You can follow me there, and I try and tweet content like this, or just retweeting interesting things and that sort of stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time.